Hello, hello, hello. How are you feeling? How you doing? What time is it? Whatever time it is, I hope you're enjoying it. If not, please listen to the music, the poetry, and I hope it makes you feel good. On the music is my man Elite. My name is One Key, and I'm here just to talk about the music and poetry. And the good part is I'm not alone. So in this journey as an artist, I get to discover, I get to meet people who share the same passion as me to learn and express and repeat. And so I have a very good friend of mine, Carine. She will tell you more about herself. Carine writes in Kinyarwanda. She's been inspired by Nyirarumaga. And Nyirarumaga was the woman poet who created the genre, different genres of poetry in Rwanda since maybe you would say 16th century or something like that. I'm not quite sure about the timing, but yeah, around that time. And also I have a friend hailing from Malawi. His name is Marumbo. You probably know him on the spoken word Rwanda scene. It's been a beautiful discovery to see him perform and the way he's dedicated and how he uses words. It's amazing. And so we're here to talk about poetry. Yeah, why poetry? Carine, please go ahead, and Marumbo, feel free to pitch in anytime.
I like poetry, I like writing, and most of the times I write when I'm sad, when I face something, some difficulties or some problem, I write. Then after, I feel like I move something from my body.
Carine, I totally agree with you and I can relate. On my previous project, I wrote something that goes in the lines of I started writing to kill the noise, I hopped on the mic to fill the void. I wrote out depression and anger and then some other stuff. But it was more therapeutic for me to express these words, and I remember that I felt really lighter after saying these things and putting them into the world and repeating them. So it feels for me like poetry is something that I do to heal on a personal level. And I hope that it also does the same thing to other people who listen to it. And so also something that I realized about the spoken word scene and the poetry is that most of the content is related to sadness and things that hurt, things that are painful, sorrow. Do you have any idea why?
Sadness is something that a lot of people understand, so even if you don't express it very well, people still relate to it. But joy and like funny and like happiness can also sometimes differ from person to person, so I think sometimes it's harder to carry that emotion well for a wider audience.
That is interesting. I'm wondering, when you're writing, do you have an audience in mind? And if so, when you write about, let's say, do you write about yourself? Do you write about other people? I'd like to know, what is your relationship with writing about people in general? What does it mean? What does it do for you? And how do you approach it?
And so predominantly I do actually just write about myself, but I've also found that a lot of people relate to like your stories. And so even when I write about others, I try to mask it with other things so that it's not like the complete story just about that person, because I don't want them feeling attacked. And so that's part of my job. Part of my job is to carry other people's stories in words that maybe they don't have, but they feel it the same way.
My next question is, what is deep?
I've never thought about this. What is deep? I think what is deep is what's honest. I think like simple, we relate to a lot more simple truths than we think. I'll put it this way, like I'm not a big fan of like poets that try to be deep for just the sake of being deep. And like whatever you're saying is not making sense, or like you're not really carrying an emotion, you're just trying to confuse people. And I don't think that's what art should be doing. And I think what the art that I personally love is like simplistic in nature, but it's deep because it's true and honest. And you can relate with it. It's not trying to be anything else that it's not. So yeah, I mean, like people can use big fancy words or like a lot of creative tools, but like if that's the end goal. I don't find that enjoyable or deep. I find what's deep is like using the tools well or the language well to express simple truths in ways that people can understand and relate to. So that's deep to me.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I think you're right. You just mentioned something about language, and I speak about 6 languages, and I've been learning this because I needed to survive. I need to maneuver in different places, different areas. But when I write, I have to decide. I have to make a choice between all these languages and say, okay, this is for this purpose, for this region and stuff. But I'm wondering for you, what is the process, and what language do you mainly write in, and why?
The sad bit is, we're colonized by the British in Malawi, so we speak English. I think in English, I express myself in English. I would love to be able to express myself in my local language. Like coming to Rwanda, one of the things that I wish I could have learned was more Kinyarwanda, more French, to be able to express myself in those languages. And a part of me is sort of jealous of okay, there are people that can do that and do that well. But it's not the case for everyone. But I also think we shouldn't burden people to fit a mold. So just because they're from a certain place, you just want them to do one thing. I think people should be free to express themselves in the languages and in the manners that they're most comfortable with. And that might include maybe not speaking in your mother tongue, but being still able to carry your feelings and emotions through. So yeah, I think it varies from people. I just don't like the idea of people pressing down a specific mode of what people should be in order to express themselves well.
Right. And Carine, for you, this is different, right? Because you write in Kinyarwanda, and most of the poets that I know who write in Kinyarwanda use old style of Kinyarwanda, a very ancient language. And I wonder why.
This helps us to remember, to reconnect to our ancient Rwanda before colonial to this Rwanda. And also for me, I'm trying to write into the Kinyarwanda, which is not ancient exactly. Like I mixed with the tough one, but also I add some Kinyarwanda that everyone can hear, like the young generation can hear about it and talk about it and can sometimes recite.
Yes, recite. Do you have something you can recite for us, for the audience, for people listening, so they have an idea about what you're talking about? Please.
Mumbazi icyo ndi cyo, mumbazi uwo ndi we, njye ubwanjye njyenyine, nyiri impano itaramagiwe, nyiri ingingo itaragegenwe, nyiri umutwe utaratotejwe watojwe gutontoma butare. Uturi ndiherera nkandika, nta gishyika nta mupaka, nzira impaka ndi mu mpaka mu kajwi keza mpanika. Mvuga ibyo ntigeze nsabwa, nsambana n'intekerezo, nkabyara ntategereje indezo, nsabana n'ibigeragezo bya buri muntu ntazi iherezo. Ahandi ndi mu nganzo, mba nshakisha umutuzo, intsinzi y'umusizi usayukanye igisigo, umuhigo w'umuhigi uhingukanye umuhigo, umuhate w'umuhanga uhimbajwe no guhanga. Njye ndandika ngo ndandaze ubu butumwa, ndandika ngo ngaburire uyu munwa, ndandika ukoze n'abagahanwa, nkanandika ukoze neza kaganwa. Mu nganzo ndaganje ndavuna nkanunga, ndabyara nkabyaza ndavuga mu kumva, ndijwi rya rubanda niho nkorera umuganda. Ndakora ntiganda ntategereje impanda, ndasyonyora ndakanda ndacura ndi mu ruganda. Muhanano ahari utuzura igituza, ndi icyiza cyangwa umwiza wanga icyiza, icyangiro cy'abakunzi, umukunzi w'icyo banga. Ngo umuhanzi nisa gihobe, ngo harya sha mucezereza ngahe, ngo utwana twanjye turagukunda koko se. Njye ndandika kuri buri wese ntawe nsigaje, njye ndandika kuri buri cyose ntaho mbogamye, ndabangama ngenda mu byanyu mutampaye, ubundi nkisanzura nkisohora wese nkisize, ndigize ndifite muri njye no muri mwe.
Wow. I think that was accessible actually in terms of how it sounds, how the words that you are using. That's amazing. I love it. I love it. Marumbo, what do you have for us?
I wish I could tell you in lesser words my why. I know the how, I know the technicalities, but there is nothing technical about a spiritual experience. When your soul leaves your body and finds itself floating. I write to conquer my fears, to tell my truths, to scream from the top of my lungs and still be able to hide behind my ribcage. I write to tell lies, to be honest and mimic what could have been, because the reality isn't always what I dreamed of, and so sometimes I need an alternate reality. I write to be free, to let the caged bird sing, to bridle the melody of truth and the need for direction. I write to let my voice out, to find the force of my existence, to carry my insecurities on my tongue and let them dance in your ear. I am earmarked for greatness, but I don't always feel like it, so I let poetry be my shield. I write to be naked, to make love to you in ways I couldn't before, to use my tongue in a way I didn't know possible, to make you feel at home, to have you tell me your secrets and more. And so when they ask me why I write about anger, why I write about love, why I write about rights and wrongs and politics or the ticking of time, I say, why even write at all? Why even write in English and not Chichewa, French and not Kinyarwanda? Why write about the world and not Rwanda? Write about Malawi and not America? I tell you I don't know. Why write about her and not him? Why write about you and not them? Why write at all? I write because I am God's vessel.
Wow, wow, wow. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for pouring your hearts on this and for coming through at the last minute. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And maybe just tell people your name and what you represent, what your aspirations are, and we can say goodbye, good day, good night. It's been a pleasure, and continue taking care of yourselves and each other. Love.
So yeah, no, thank you, One Key, for having me on. My name is Marumbo. I hail from a small country called Malawi, and my goal and vision is to see the world through poetry.
Maniraguha, Carine, ninjusiga dasanda kusijya sanze, uwe gihanga yahunze inganzo, numbona uzanyita umusisi, numenya uzanyita igisigo. Carine, poet.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.